Welcome, everyone. It's always a pleasure to be here working with and learning together. Hopefully, these videos are changing your life as they are changing mine as well. What I've realized that I come across is that I'm in the hospital, and this morning I'm in here, and it dawned on me. I'm watching hundreds of people walking by that works here in this hospital, and I'm looking at their face, and of course, one thing I did not see is a smile on their face. And I'm wondering, is this the purpose of this world? Is this what we're here for? To work 30, 40 years to come to a place and we can't even smile every day when we come into this place? What is the point of all this? What is the point of working? Why are we here? Of course, you might say, well, we need to live, we need to pay our bills, pay the house, the car. But at the end of all of that, is it really a reward? Because when you think about it, I was telling my friend today, is that, think about it. You're born and you're raised by your parents, and now you have children, and now you're forced to go to work. Of course, you're thinking it's a volunteer thing, but it's not. Working is not volunteer unless you want to starve, and nobody wants to starve, so therefore, it's not a choice. We're forced to have to go to work. But yet, during the 20 years, 30 years of working, going to work every day to raise your children, and of course, they grow up and they move on. And then, of course, you spend another 10 years, and then you retire. What did you get out of working? Think about it. What did you get out of it? Did you enjoy it? Did you go to work every single day for the last 40 years like you can't wait to get out of bed to get to that place you want to go every day and thinking you're earning or changing your life? I can tell you for me, I did not enjoy it. And I think most people would tell you that because at the end, when you look at it, it doesn't matter how much you think a job is worthy and loving, there's a time where you want to retire. You know, I told someone this, is that people say, oh, it's my dream to be a doctor, to be this, to be a lawyer, whatever the case may be, everybody illusion of what they want to be. But I said then, if that is your dream, why do you want to get vacation? Why do you want a day off? Matter of fact, why are you going to retire in 30, 40 years from now from your dream? You see the illusion of that? It's your dream to be this particular professional. But the question is, you have to ask yourself, if you really examine why we're working, put away, again, I just showed you that, put away the money and the fact that you have to live, you have to eat, and you buy materialism. Did you enjoy those 30, 40 years working for that materialism? And at the end, what happened? Your best years is used up on that job. Your best years, your glorious years, you will never get that back. And yet, the worst part of it, the aging part in your 40s and 50s is when you're retiring, where your youth is gone, you can't get your 20s back or your 30s, even your 40s. You're in your 50s and 60s, and then this is when you're supposed to retire. What are you supposed to do at this point? Does that make sense? Yes, we have to work. It's not an option. But what is the bottom line? What is the purpose of all this? Is this why we were created? Is this why God put us on this planet? Is that the purpose of creation? Because it doesn't make sense. Because why? It really has no meaning behind it. And I was telling her, when you think about it, in a sense it does, but it has no meaning for the person who doesn't understand what I'm talking about. Meaning this, the purpose of you working is because for you not to idle. Because when a person is idling, they're not doing anything. The only thing most likely they'll come up with is evil, trying to do things to entertain or to keep them occupied. So therefore, what did God said to Adam? Because why? How did work came about? Work came about because Adam was not working. He was idling. But of course he had work to do. But what kind of work did he have? His work was to learn the Bible, the Torah, to follow God's rules, to implement God's rules in his life. But he decided to do something different. And therefore, because of that reason, mankind had to work. And the reason why we are working, and if you think about it, it's meaningless, is because we need to be occupied to keep us from sinning, to keep us from stealing from our neighbor, or hurting our neighbor, or killing our neighbor for what they have on the material, because we want what they have. And that is really the reason why we are working. So if you look at it, as I said, it's meaningless, but yet it has meaning as well. Because why? We were not created to be working. That was not the intent at all. That was not the purpose of the creation. But because we're not doing what we were created to do, which was serve God, so God says, I'm going to protect you from yourself. And for me to do that, I have to keep you busy. I have to keep you fighting. I have to keep you occupied at least 8 to 10 hours a day. I have to keep you occupied. Why? Because if I keep you occupied, you're not going to be sinning. So imagine someone lived their life and they sinned for 60 years of sin. Imagine that. The entire life has been sin. That person has no choice, no way they're getting into heaven. It's not possible. Because that's your entire life. This is, by the way, why our life has been cut short to 98, 90, or 100 years. Because why? Imagine if you live 1,000 years like it was intended. Imagine 1,000 years of sinning, then again, that's the end of mankind. There's no way mankind going to get into heaven. Imagine slavery lasted for 1,000 years. You were in slavery for 1,000 years because that's how long you live. Imagine those things. We're not understanding this because you don't read the Torah, the Old Testament, to understand the purpose of this creation. You're seeing the physical, and you're thinking it's people that's creating the issues that's in your life. It's not people. It is you. Because why? There's two parts to this world. There's the spiritual component that drives this world, and the physical that we're seeing that is manifest, that we have to live in it. And because, again, we didn't go with what God told us to do, is why we are now in this dilemma or this difficulty of challenging that we have to work to keep ourselves occupied while we're here 70, 80 years in this earth. And then at the end, how many people could say they really enjoy 40 years of working? Because, again, how can you say you enjoy it if you were not going to work every day with a smile? And matter of fact, I want you to think about this. I want you to think about it really careful. Can you really count on one hand how many times you went to work you were happy? Completely happy from the day you walked through the door, or the moment, or the day you woke up, to the day, the whole day you walk out that place and you were happy. How many people could say that? It simply doesn't exist. Because once in a blue moon you get an up, but most of the time of life is like in a downward spiral. Because again, if life was in an upward spiral, we would be laughing and smiling all day long and feeling good. But why we're not laughing and smiling all day long? Because work is not fun. We don't like the job, we don't like the profession, we don't like the boss, we don't like the coworker, we don't like the half hour or 30 or 40 minutes of drive or an hour driving. We're stuck in traffic and we're not getting paid enough and we're working overtime and we're barely making ends meet. How can we say we're enjoying working? It really does not. It really doesn't make sense. But yet, it's something that we have done to ourselves. And I was looking at this morning. It just dawned on me. I'm like, wow, how much time did I waste? Of course, people are thinking that, of course, work is meaningful. Yes, work is meaningful to the people who don't understand what I'm talking about. The other side, the spiritual aspect. Because the spiritual aspect is where we should all be at. Not this. Again, this was an alternative to what we were supposed to be. Work was the second alternative to the sin of Adam. That was not the intent. This is why it's not pleasant. It will never be pleasant. Because why? It's to keep us from sinning. Keeping us from where God has to punish us when we leave this world. Because the purpose of why we're here, we are supposed to be working ourselves to become better human beings. When we leave here, when you stand before God, He's going to ask you, what did you do down there? And you're going to have to give an answer. And the question is, do you think God is going to accept your answer? Matter of fact, you got to keep in mind, God is running the show. And you are going to pay the price. Whether you like it or not, that's the way the world is. He's the boss. He created you. And this is what it's all about. Thank you for learning and sharing. And of course, leave your comments. Let me know what you think, whether you enjoy working or not. Was it pleasurable? And what was the end of people that you know that work? How did their life end? Bye-bye.